Bills Mafia showed up.
But this place is absolutely going wild.
He's wrapped up for the sack.
Spectacular touchdown.
1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, ready.
We already know what you're gonna say, but what about Philly? And it's a fair question after the way they owned the Chiefs in Super Bowl 59. But while the Eagles were holding a parade, the Buffalo Bills quietly built something special in Orchard Park. The only question is, did they stack the most complete team in the AFC for 2025 or in the entire NFL? Let's get into it and see if we can't fire up fans on both sides of the debate. So let's start with the basics. In Buffalo, Josh Allen is the foundation, period. He's arguably the most balanced quarterback in football, and here's why. The guy has Ben Roethlisberger's strength in the pocket, Joe Montana's efficiency, Brett Favre's cannon arm, and Cam Newton's legs. And guess what all those dudes have in common? They've all played on the final Sunday of the season, but none of them had all the tools that number 17 does.
Gonna run for it, he got it! And there he goes! Inside the 10, the 5! Oh, the play of the year!
So why has Allen never taken the Bills to a Super Bowl? We'll get to that in a minute, but first, let's talk about what makes this guy the best player to build a team around. Since 2020, Allen has finished first or second in fantasy points among all quarterbacks every year. He's the only QB to do that despite never cracking the top 3 in passing yards, and don't get us wrong, this guy rarely finishes outside the top 10 as a passer, but what makes him the most well-rounded quarterback is 4,000 plus career rushing yards and 65 touchdowns on the ground. That's what. And that's not to mention his durability. You see, most dual threat quarterbacks who run this much normally get hurt. Allen has missed just 4 games in 7 seasons. But even the most talented quarterback in football needs help. And Allen knew it when he was negotiating his record $330 million extension. Instead of asking for more money, he structured his deal to create cap space for the Bills to sign more talent. Because when Buffalo revamped that contract in March, they weren't just paying their quarterback, they were reacting to what Philadelphia did after winning the Super Bowl. We'll discuss that as well as where the Bills spent the money later in the video, but we shouldn't get ahead of ourselves here. Because before any team in the AFC can even discuss dethroning Philly, they have to go through the Kansas City Chiefs. There's no point in sugarcoating it, Bills fans. Patrick Mahomes has been to 7 AFC Championship games, he's won 5 of them, and he's also beaten Buffalo 4 times in the playoffs, including twice in the Conference Championship. So when Josh Allen structured his contract to free up cap space, Buffalo knew exactly what they were building for. This wasn't about beating Philadelphia in February. It was about getting past Kansas City in January. So where did Buffalo spend that money Allen's contract freed up? Primarily on the defense. And their biggest move was bringing in 5-time Pro Bowler Joey Bosa with his 72 career sacks, including 5 against Patrick Mahomes. Injury concerns and a nearly $40 million cap hit for the year were the primary reasons the Chargers let Bosa walk. Harbaugh, understandably, didn't fight to keep the former Buckeye, so the Bills pounced. The next signing was a homecoming for cornerback Tre'Davious White. The All-Pro was a fan favorite in Buffalo before being released in 2024. Now, White's back on a 1-year deal to shore up the secondary and take one last shot at bringing Bills Mafia a championship. But GM Brandon Beane and the front office were far from done. The team also picked up Michael Hoyt from the Rams, Larry Ogunjobi from the Steelers, and Derek Forrest from Washington. In a matter of weeks, Buffalo spent over $25 million on guys who know how to win in January. Players who understand what it takes to beat Patrick Mahomes when the season's on the line. Because the Chiefs don't just overwhelm you with talent, they beat you with unpredictability, matchups, and championship DNA, and they do it on both sides of the ball. According to Pro Football Reference, Kansas City finished 4th in team defense last year. So Buffalo matched that with their free agent signings. But to truly build the most balanced team in football, they needed one more. They needed youth, speed, and players who can grow during the season. That's where the 2025 NFL Draft became absolutely critical. So the veterans were locked and loaded, but Buffalo wasn't done. The 2025 NFL Draft was where they'd add the final pieces, because here's the thing about January football. You need more than just 11 guys. You need depth, fresh legs, and guys who can rotate in and out and still maintain that championship level. So Buffalo rated the SEC for elite talent that could contribute sooner rather than later. With the 30th overall pick, they grabbed Maxwell Hairston from Kentucky.
30th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Buffalo Bills select Maxwell Hairston. Let's go!
This kid has a blistering 4.28 speed and cut his teeth locking down SEC receivers, which meant he was shadowing future NFL talent every Saturday and making them look ordinary.
Oh, that's 6. It's going to be a pick 6. and it's Maxwell Hairston tying Dallas Owens with his third career pick six.
In 2025, he'll be shadowing Tre'Davious White and Christian Benford, who are tasked with getting the rookie up to NFL speed. By December, Buffalo should have 3 legit corners to rotate in and out. To add depth to the interior of the D-line, Beane and the Bills traded up to grab TJ Sanders out of South Carolina. While everyone was focused on Shane Beamer's edge rushers in Columbia, this guy was collapsing pockets from the inside and stuffing SEC running backs week in and week out. In 2025, he'll rotate with Daquan Jones to keep Buffalo's pass rush over 18 weeks. On the outside, Buffalo grabbed Arkansas 6'6", 264-pound nightmare in Landon Jackson. All this kid did was single-handedly wreck game plans in the SEC West while racking up 16 sacks and 28 tackles for loss. Teams would constantly slide protection Jackson's way, and he still got home.
Bowman is sacked.
Now he gets to perfect his game with mentors like Greg Rousseau and Joey Bosa. And the Bills' final selection from the SEC cupboard was another Kentucky Wildcat, and this dude is different. At 6'7" tall, 331 pounds, Deone Walker was the anchor of Mark Stoops' defense.
Rattler is taken down by guess who? Deone Walker.
Another interior defender, but he moves like a guy who's 50 pounds lighter when he stunts. But he is flat out immovable up the middle. He gives Buffalo serious interior depth that can eat up double teams and keep their starters healthy. And that's what Buffalo accomplished with this draft. A defense to match the offensive juggernaut we're about to dig into. In fact, 6 of their first 7 picks went to bolster Sean McDermott's defense, and all of them will get meaningful snaps this season and learn what it takes to win big games. And come January, when other teams are running on fumes, Buffalo will be rotating in fresh, experienced players who've been battle-tested all year. That's how you build the most complete team in football. So why hasn't Josh Allen taken the Bills to a Super Bowl yet? It's simple. Football is a team sport, and he's been asked to carry too much of the load for too long. But that's over now. So let's talk about what he's working with for 2025, because recent history has hinted at a new trend in the NFL: balance wins championships. And for the first time in Allen's career, he's got legitimate weapons at every single position. Let's start in the backfield with James Cook, who just signed a 4-year deal to stay in Buffalo. Cook is about as versatile a back as you'll find in the NFL, and in 2024, he registered his first 1,000 rushing season barely.
Cook taken off.
And Cook is in for the touchdown.
But it's not the yardage that makes this guy dangerous, it's his nose for the goal line. Last season, Cook tied for the league lead in rushing touchdowns, and only Jahmyr Gibbs had more total touchdowns. The dude's a 2-time Pro Bowler who can line up anywhere. Behind him is Ray Davis, a second-year bruiser out of Kentucky who provides the power in short yardage situations. Davis also catches the ball as well as anyone out of the backfield, but it's the veteran Ty Johnson who will work as the primary third down specialist. That's 3 totally different skill sets in one backfield, and don't be surprised to see more than one of them on the field at any given time. Coming off the line, the Bills have Dalton Kincaid and Dawson Knox, and this is where Buffalo needs to improve the most. Kincaid is the better pass catcher of the 2 tight ends and set a Bills rookie record for receptions in 2023. But in 2024, he hit a sophomore slump and was outsnapped by Knox, who's become more of a blocker since Kincaid arrived. Both guys have proven they can play, and now the Bills just have to figure out the best way to use them. That should get a lot easier considering how much depth the team has at wide receiver this year. Khalil Shakir is wide receiver 1 in Buffalo, and he just got extended for a reason. He was Allen's most reliable target last season, and only Jamar Chase had more yards after contact among all wide receivers. Keon Coleman is entering year 2 and is finally healthy. At 6'3" tall, 215 pounds, the former basketball player gives Josh Allen a big body target with off-the-chart ball skills. If Coleman's route running levels up this season, he could challenge Shakir for the wide receiver 1 role by the end of 2025. Coleman and Shakir should both take a leap this season, but what makes this receiving core really dangerous is the depth they have now. Joshua Palmer came over from the Chargers to add veteran presence, Elijah Moore brings speed and route running ability, Curtis Samuel can line up anywhere and create mismatches. That's depth that Buffalo hasn't had in years, but here's what really makes this offense special: the offensive line. All 5 starters are back. Dion Dawkins, David Edwards, Connor McGovern, Osiris Torrance, Spencer Brown. That's continuity you can't buy. Because these guys have Josh Allen's tendencies locked in. They know when he's going to scramble, and they know how to give him time. So when you put that all together, Allen's got a running game that can control the clock, he's got receivers who can beat any coverage, and he's got tight ends who can create mismatches. Couple all of that with protection that lets him do what he does best, and for the first time in his career, Josh Allen doesn't have to be Superman every single play. He's got help, real help. The kind of help that wins championships. So now it's time to get the argument started. Have the Buffalo Bills honestly built the most complete team in football? Because here's the thing. While Buffalo was building all of this, Philadelphia didn't just sit around celebrating their Super Bowl. They got better too, which is as scary as it is hard to believe. But going into 2025, the Eagles have the top-ranked offense, the top-ranked offensive line, and a top-5 defense according to most analysts. The Eagles managed this by keeping their championship core intact while adding even more pieces. A.J. Dillon and John Mechie IV add power and speed at the skill positions, while the Eagles added depth everywhere else, so they aren't slowing down. They're actually speeding up. Now we've got two teams that are absolutely loaded. Buffalo has their MVP quarterback and the deepest roster it's had in decades, and Philadelphia, with its championship experience and an offense that's adding weapons. Both teams were built specifically to win right now. Both teams have everything you need for a Super Bowl run, and both teams know they might have to go through each other to get there. This season, the question isn't whether Buffalo finally has the pieces. They do. The question is whether those pieces can finally get them past Kansas City first. Because no one's going to give them the chance to knock off the champs. You've got to earn that right. And if Buffalo finally does, if they finally beat the Chiefs and make it to Super Bowl 60, we might get the ultimate showdown between the two most complete teams in football. Eagles versus Bills. Championship experience versus championship hunger. The team that won it all versus the team that's been knocking on the door. We may have to wait until February to get our answer about who really built the most complete team, but if it happens, it's going to be one hell of a game. Now, it's your turn to tell us what you think. If it's Eagles-Bills next February in Super Bowl 60, who hoists the Lombardi Trophy? The defending champs who keep getting better, or the challengers who finally put it all together? Drop your take in the comment section below, hit that like button if you think Buffalo's time is finally here, and subscribe to Snap Count for more breakdowns just like this, because this championship race is just getting started.